you from downtown Reno on the Sunday night of the Academy Awards. That's what I'm covering for Colo 8 News Now. Really one of the biggest nights of the year for us at Colo, because the Oscars are one of the things that are on ABC every single year. So the show that we do following the Academy Awards is always one of the highest rated of the year for sure. And I had a chance to actually go to an Academy Awards party here in Reno at the Silver Legacy. And it was one of those things where it was really easy to get interviews, people talking about their favorite movies, people dressed to the nines. So actually kind of a cool assignment that I had to do earlier tonight here in downtown Reno. Of course, always getting some jackasses that want to yell out at me when I'm doing a live shot like this in downtown of how they should be on the news and those kind of things. People try to video bomb your live shots, all those kind of obstacles that you might expect here around downtown Reno, but a cool assignment nonetheless. Coming to you at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night here at Colo 8, and a rainy Saturday night at that. It's been basically a month of nothing but weather here in Reno, either snow, rain, or 75-mile-an-hour winds. We've had it all, and I've covered it all for the news, that's for sure. I'm gonna test the auto iris ability of this Sony RX100 Mark V camera that I have for the vlog, by taking a walk, as I often do during these Saturday nights between shows. And there's a special kind of lonely, by the way, that comes from taking this walk, because I'm in kind of an industrial part of town here in Reno, and nobody is obviously working Saturday night at 10 o'clock. So when you walk through some of the buildings and things, there's never anyone there. I feel like within 3 square miles of Colo 8, not a single human being is right now. It's kind of eerie, but at the same time I don't mind it, because who would I want to talk to anyway? I want to talk to the vlog viewers. That's who I want to talk to. So one interesting hand happened to me at the Peppermill the other day, and it actually ended up being an amazing day for me. I take to Instagram at Ben Deach early on in the session, and I'm openly bitching about the fact that my game sucks. I really shouldn't have done that, but it was just so nitty, and no one was playing any hands, a bunch of OMCs in the game, and until finally things get a little bit better. Then they get a lot better. 2 maniacs jump in the game, and all of a sudden I go from basically spinning my wheels to being up $1,000 in what seemed like the blink of an eye. Interesting hand plays out when we get an under the gun open to 20, under the gun plus 2 calls. The low jack makes the call, and I'm in the big blind with pocket 5s. I make the call as well, obviously. The flop comes Jack 7-6 with 2 spades. I check, under the gun checks, under the gun 2 checks, and the low jack checks. The low jack's the maniac in this hand, but he doesn't bet. Turn is a 5. I check again, expecting somebody to bet, particularly this maniac that I'm talking about. And sure enough, he does. He fires out 75. Now, I happen to know that this is going to be a bet with really no hand, a wide percentage of the time. So if I raise here, what am I going to accomplish? Certainly if he has a draw, he might call. If he has a jack, I would have thought he would have bet on the flop. So it's hard to really put him on too many hands here, so I elect to just call, thinking that he's on a bluff. The river comes out an 8. So a few straight draws got there, but I'm obviously still feeling very good about my hand. I check again, and he fires out 350. Folding is not an option. So could I raise here is the question, and I think it's going to be very tough unless he specifically has a hand like Jack 8. I just don't see him ever calling a raise, so I think the answer to that's pretty simple. I just call, and he says, good call. I didn't see what he had. I didn't make him show because this is a recreational player, a guy who drives the game. And in those spots, I'm never going to make those guys show. Now, if this is a pro, or even some of these regs who think they're good but they're not types, or even a few OMCs who just drive me crazy, I'm going to make him show. I guess the OMCs are never going to bluff, so that's neither here nor there. But you get the idea, you get the point I'm trying to make. And that is that recreational player bluffs. He says, you got me. Just turn your hand over and don't make him show. That's generally the way to do it. Next hand, under the gun 2 opens to 20. The button calls, and I'm in the small blind with pocket 4s. So pocket 5s last hand and pocket 4s this hand. And I make the call. Flop comes pretty favorable. Ace 3-4 with 2 clubs. So once again, I have a set. And once again, the question is how to play it. I opt to check, to try to get a bet out of the pre-flop raiser, which I do get. He bets 25. The button makes the call. Button is a very loose player, by the way. And I check raise it to 90. Original raiser folds immediately, but the button makes the call. So I'm certainly hoping for a non-club on the turn, and I get one. It's the 5 of spades. And in this spot, I am going to bet big because I know that the under the gun, the button here is a guy who will chase draws very persistently. I make it 225, and he basically snap calls. So now he certainly could have an ace, but I would think a hand like King, Queen of clubs might make a little more sense. The river comes an offsuit Jack, so the clubs don't get there, and I thought about checking up until I realized that he only has about 300 left. So he does not have enough to bluff me, and I think he would recognize that. So knowing that if he missed his club draw, he's not going to call anyway. And I also started thinking, well, how much money is he going to want to put into this pot now with just an ace? I decided to size way down on this bet. And I bet 140. Tiny bet that he's going to have to call with his entire range of made hands. And sure enough, he does snap call. Problem for me was I didn't bet enough because he shows pocket 3s for a flopped set over set scenario. The first time in the history of this vlog that I have been on the right end of that, I believe. So I win a big one there, and I end up booking just shy of a $3,000 win on the same day that I was dumb enough to bitch on Instagram about the game being nitty and being lousy. Got real good, real quick, and I booked the win there. I think it's important to point out right out of the gate that I am not a customer here today. Yes, this is the world famous Mustang Ranch brothel. Now, I think a lot of you might have the wrong idea about prostitution in the state of Nevada. Probably you know that it's legal here. I don't think all of you know exactly how it works. There's only certain counties where it is legal, and most notably it is not legal in Clark, where Las Vegas is, or Washoe, where Reno is. It's legal in very small counties outside of it. Now, I'm shooting a story here today because a lawsuit has been filed in an attempt to shut down prostitution in Nevada, and that's my angle. So if you want to actually watch what I did with that story, visit colotv.com. I'll have a link in the description below. So, I'm going to head inside now and see what kind of interviews I can get. And again, I'm not here as a customer.